So something a little different this time. Now, we've talked about hypnosis in all sorts of different forms and shapes, and we've done a little bit of examples, so you're beginning to get a bit of an understanding of how hypnosis can be used and how easy it is to create a state of hypnosis. Now, in all hypnosis, one of the things we talk about is suggestibility, and creating a climate of suggestibility. In other words, setting the person up to be receptive to those suggestions. Now, when we think about those suggestions, the idea of the old hypnotist holding up a pendulum and saying, "You're getting very sleepy," and then going into a sense of hypnosis, that's an example. But think about this: if you were to take a situation, for instance, in Africa, and I lived in Africa for many years, right? And there were definitely cases where, for instance, a witch doctor or Sangoma or whatever you want to call them, might say to someone, they'd point the bone and say, "You will die in a week." Now, there are certainly very well documented cases of the person literally then going home, preparing to die, and sure enough, dying within a week. One could say they worried themselves to death. One could say any number of things. But one way or another, the person dies within a week. Now, this is obviously a very disturbing use of suggestion, and it's an extreme one. Now, the thing about a witch doctor is that they have all this garb, they have sometimes some unusual clothes or some unusual headgear, they have strange painted faces, they have all sorts of other paraphernalia which makes them very, very identifiable as that specific force. It's actually quite interesting to see. And this isn't just something done for the tourists, believe me. I've worked in South Sudan and in remote parts of Africa and seen people that are clearly witch doctors who are not doing it for the tourists. These are people who are hugely powerful within their communities. There's no doubt in the mind of the person who's on the wrong end of this suggestibility that something's happening. Now, just picture the effect of someone with that special garb pointing at you and saying, "You've got 6 months to live." Well, you know, if you totally believe in them, in their culture, it's probably going to have a negative effect on you. And now let's just twist that just a bit. What if they wore a white coat, held a clipboard, looked at your chart in the hospital, and said, "I'm really terribly sorry, but you've only got 6 months to live." Now, in this series of videos about hypnosis, you've already got some idea of the power of suggestion. Just think about how damaging such a suggestion could be to someone. And yet it happens every day. Something to think about.